Hello, I'm Nicholas Jackson.
I'm Luke Roberts.
And I'm drinking a unique mix of rum and iron brew. I'm Adam Thorne.
And welcome to episode 9 of the new high-tech Ran Nerds podcast.
You say that, and it's going to be the worst sounding podcast today.
We've become PC and now we're high-tech.
Very high-tech.
Is that how it goes? We've got sponsors now?
Yeah, we're PC, we're positive, and we're high-tech.
Awesome. When did this happen? How did this happen?
Well, what happened when you bought your new mics, and the rest is it's through careful editing that we're more PC, and through positivity it's because we got moaned out
You
last time.
can't hear this, but I am making a noose for myself as we speak.
Yeah, he is. I thought, luckily these mics can't pick up anything more than a few inches away, so we're safe on that.
Yeah. Like as soon as you hear the rope snap, you might hear like a light kind of...
Then and you'll just hear me, Luke, just switch his microphone off. Just switch his microphone off.
Cut his mic down.
Yeah, we didn't catch
We
that,
don't
did
want
we?
people to hear the swinging.
Yeah.
His boots are making contact with a chair.
God damn
You'll
it.
just have Luke going, hello, I'm Adam Thorne.
Yeah, like, I'll have to be my best thought.
Is that honestly how I sound? My God.
Thank you for listening. Well,
Made me
Gay,
sound like some sort of demented glove puppet there.
hello.
You could be.
I'm like a really shit
Could that be,
ventriloquist
could that be
dummy.
perhaps that could be our mascot. We haven't got really a logo
A
mascot,
ventriloquist
have we?
dummy that looks like
Hello.
me.
Yeah. I'm Adam Nettle.
Oh my God, no.
Games we've been playing. Well,
None of them.
none of them. Well,
Fuck video games. None of us like them anyway.
Yeah, we don't like it, no. Well,
The one that Nick's about to talk about, he don't
Oh.
like, so this is going to be
Oh
great.
dear. I have had the misfortune.
I'm going to have heart palpitations
Yeah.
during this.
I've had the misfortune to have been playing FIFA 4.
No!
He says misfortune. This is self-inflicted.
This is self-inflicted. I've done a review of it.
Masochism.
It is just, as a thief game, it is utterly horrendous. Basically, they sat there and thought, let's look at the Thief universe and let's just, they've got this big book of the Thief universe. There's the bin, drop, smash,
I have
gone.
lost friends because of this game. Somebody I know picked this game up, said he enjoyed it, and I called him a massive fucking casual. And he doesn't speak to me anymore.
So it's King Hardcore that doesn't play any games.
I don't play any games because they're all shit now.
Wow.
Fair enough. Positive.
Is that all
Positivity.
you have to say
No.
about Thief
Oh,
4?
I've got many things to say. How long have we got to record? 60 hours?
Yeah, we've got
America?
about 61 hours now, rather than the usual 2. Get ready.
Yeah, right. So they've got the thief floor. So complete jettisons in it. So you've got no hammers. Not that I've seen yet anyway.
No Hammerites.
No hammers, no pagans, no keepers.
Ah.
So they're all gone. Well, if they're in there, I've not found them yet.
Right, somebody or some review I was reading mentioned something about a possibility of Karas being in the game.
If he is, I've not come across the trouble is I found it really hard to play it. Not because I can't play it, but because it's very hard to build the enthusiasm after actually sit down and actually play a session of it.
That's when
how
you know
far have
a
you
game
got?
sucks.
I'm probably about 6 hours in. I've done 2 of the main story missions, and there's 8 of them. I've done 2 of them. I can't play it anymore.
How has it taken you that long? I'm pretty sure it's only like an 8-hour game.
A painful process does take a while.
Because I've occasionally, that's what Steam says. That's because I've left it running in the background while I've gone and had tea and stuff every now and again. So it's actually probably took me like 2 hours.
Oh, okay.
Actually, to be fair, some of the missions are quite long on it.
You take a long time eating your tea, sir.
I do.
I was just saying, what you've been doing?
Lots of
Standing there?
sessions. I mean, to be fair, some of the missions in it are quite long, actually, to be fair. So you've got none of the old thief. Garrus just sounds like your generic video game protagonist number 4. You know, he's just...
Number 4? I
Yeah.
was hoping they'd go more towards number 8 this time, but alright, 4.
Yeah, but he's just a clone of number 1.
Do you remember what they
damn it.
did to Devil May Cry's Dante?
Yes,
From
let's
what I
not go
gather,
there.
we've gone in the same direction. They've turned
Just-
him into a complete prick.
If I said to you, describe to me the average game protagonist, male game protagonist, you would describe somebody who's very angsty, who is just basically a jerk to everybody. I'd happily play a game protagonist who, if I met in the pub, I could have a chat with and have a drink with. I'd just want to punch Garrett if I met him in the pub.
Can we just call him prick?
Yeah, call
Prick,
Prick.
I like
Okay, so Prick has got a sidekick. I will say there are some spoilers ahead for this, but to be fair, if you've watched any of the trailers, you have seen these spoilers because I'm not going to go past the prequel section of the game. So Erin, she's arrogant herself. She's this female sidekick. She says always constantly going about how much better she is at you. She's younger than you. Garrett always goes about how she's not careful enough. She's a bit sassy, a bit cheeky, a bit out of control. Basically, like most
Would a
females.
good example... Have you played Fable?
First one, yes.
Would a good example be Whisper from Fable?
A little bit,
I hated Fable, but the one thing I liked about Fable was the fact I got to decapitate her. Was the best part of the game. I got to kill Whisper.
It's just like I've seen enough modern games played, and they seem to think that the female protagonist, to be a sort of more modern character, just has to be arrogant and basically someone you. Basically, I'm going to use this word here, a bit of a bitch.
They have this whole strong, independent idea of how a woman should be, and it's
wrong.
The complete opposite of what a strong, independent woman actually is.
She's comes across as a bit of an idiot.
Like I was saying before the podcast, I would love to have like a Red Sonja companion in a game. If I have a female companion in a game, I want her to be able to kill shit with me, you know?
Yeah, she comes across as a bit of an idiot when you play with her, to play in levels with her. I hate it, but although I just find it slightly amusing because her name is Erin, I actually had a sheep called Erin. So whenever I all could feel is my sheep called Erin, and I will put a photo up on the website of the two so you can compare and think which one you think is the better looking one.
The one from Thief is a bit woolly.
Oh, that's terrible. Terrible. So, as characters, it fails as characters. It fails as story and environments, because the world doesn't feel like a Thief world, because it's always been actually very steampunky.
Very dystopian, wasn't it, Thief?
Very, like, medieval, but you'd, like, go and find, like, these steam generators here everywhere. Nowadays, it feels more like sort of... I tell you what it feels like. It feels like Dishonored.
Ugh.
And it's basically... It does feel like they... If wasn't for this game's been developed for a long time, I would swear that this is basically a Dishonored rip-off.
What I really liked about the old Thief games is they felt very dirty and very drab, which sound like bad things, but in the way the Thief world works, were very atmospheric.
Yeah. Well, they've done all the usual sort of things with redesigning it. I mean, the cities have still got places like Stone Market and South Quarter all still there. Right. So you still walk around the cities as they were. And I will say the city hubs are really good. They are really expansive, really big. They're like Deadly, I imagine all the city hubs and Deadly Shadows combined together would be one of their single city hubs.
That is quite nice. I'll give them that.
But they feel dead. All you meet in them are beggars and guards, and very occasionally,
no civilians,
and all
really.
a few civilians, and all the beggars just act identical. You walk up to them, they just put their hand up for money, but it's so identical. It's like
they kind of like the beggars in Fallout, which all looked the same, just had different coloured beards.
Yeah, they are exactly like that. But at least in Fallout, you only encounter them very rarely. Yeah. This one, you could have 3 in the same area, and they all do the exact same animation. They could at least vary it a bit. And they've also done things like given Garrett, he's now got a clock tower he lives in rather than an apartment.
Yeah, I was informed about this on the last podcast apparently, but I was so appalled I blanked it out. Nick was talking about it on the way over and I actually cringed. It was just, yeah.
And you go in his little, you go in this little clock tower, and he's got a place that where he puts all his trophies in, which again, he doesn't sell them, he just puts them all on the wall as a trophy. So how much money are you not selling here, Garrett? Or Prick, as we now know he's called.
Gorrit the Prick.
Gorrit. So, as a story, it fails miserably. It's absolutely horrendous.
I will add the whole thing that they eventually removed after fans complained of him having black nail varnish. Very edgy.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, he had black nail varnish originally, but so many people complained that they had to cut it out.
Yeah,
I'll find the original pictures and send them to you.
You look at him, he just looks, again, he looks like a sort of... Old Garrett looks like a normal person.
Old Garrett basically made himself look like he fitted in, didn't he? He was pretty nondescript, which as a thief you would be, you know.
Whereas new Garrett sounds like a sore thumb, which is probably the guys recognise him all the time. Mechanics-wise, it is horrible. It's obviously tried to copy Assassin's Creed, and it has, because you have...
Because it sucks.
So we've got Assassin's Creed crossed with Dishonored right now.
Pretty much, but they took like two... Dishonored, great game series. Game. The Assassin's Creed, good ones, and a few not so good ones, and they've produced this really sick puppy at the end of it.
I meant to actually ask, I didn't ask you on the way over, is there a character in the new Thief to represent Benny, the guard from the old Thief games?
No, I've not come across him yet. Well, but you've just reminded me of something. Talking of characters, the mission last mission I played, you meet the Thief Taker General, which sounds like a very bizarre name. Yeah, title.
Oh dear.
You meet him, and he's meant to be a bit of a badass dude boss. And how do you do that in a game? How do you show someone's a bit of a badass dude? First he does is shout out into a subordinate for being
Nobody
incompetent.
expects the Spanish Inquisition.
Sort of. Shout out a subordinate for being incompetent and then shoot them. That is how all modern day enemy characters are portrayed.
So he shot his own men in that.
Exactly. If you want to show this guy's a bit of a badass, shoot his own men. No, he's an idiot for shooting his own men. That's just, I mean, what's that? That's not going to inspire you. This guy's going to think, oh, God, this guy's got, I've got to get away from him. The writing is horrendous. There is a section, the same, just after you've had this bit where he shot this guy to prove he's such a badass he is, the guys sit there and they start talking about cock rings. In a thief game.
Do you get to steal the cock rings?
No, thankfully
Garrett has
not.
them hung up in his clock tower.
Thankfully
Ooh, look at these nice glittery
But
cock rings
why?
I stole right off the end of his dick and he didn't even notice.
That's one hell of a pickpocket. It's just... Anyway. Anyway. So, story shit. Mechanics.
Right up next to the jeweled codpiece.
Yeah. Mechanics are... It's got an action button. So, basically... It's one button that does everything. So you want to climb up something, action button. You want to jump, but only in certain places, action button. You can't jump anywhere, action button. You want to vault over something, action button. Okay.
I think in terms of Dragon Age, a game which I loathe greatly, they mentioned it as an awesome button. You press it and it does awesome things, and otherwise it does everything, which isn't good for any kind of game.
No, because the trouble is the game's constantly trying to guess what you want it to you wanted to do. So I was one of my guards in the city, and I thought, there's some boxes over there. I'll climb up the boxes and climb to the roof. So I went to the boxes. Now, because of the way they were lined, I was not sort of hanging. If you imagine you have a wall, they have two boxes in front of it, different heights, and they like form steps. I wasn't approaching from the front of the steps. I was approaching from the source side.
Right.
So I went up to the first one, went to climb, hit my action button, and I vaulted over the box. On the other side, I thought, crap! On the other side of the box, I had to turn around and climb back up. And it's like this. It's intuitive. It can't second guess what I want it to do. And it seems odd because I was saying this the other day to you on the way down, that previous Thief games, you had a run button and you had a climb button.
Yeah, things were simple, but they
And if
worked.
you wanted to get over a box, you just walked up, climbed it, mounted up over it, and then you could either climb it further or run off the other side. So it has that action button, and then they have to put limits on what you can do with this button. So I'm on a rooftop. I could jump where I need to go. I could jump through a window. I could see it. It's a window. I could shoot it out of an arrow, jump through if I wanted to, but that's not how the game wants me to go into the building. So to stop me jumping, they put a little 6-inch high wall around the edge of the building's roof, which means I can't jump anymore. I mean, that just sort of, it's like they've made this cool mechanical system which sort of works, and then they've had to realise, oh crap, we can't railroad the player quite how we like to, so we're going to have to basically force them to do it. Because despite what they say, the main missions are very linear. You can only really progress through it. You can't ever go back. So you start, and then if you want to go back to the start of the level, you can't, because it makes you like fall down somewhere you can't go back, which is very anti-thief mentality.
Definitely.
And it's inconsistent, the other mechanics introduces. So you get to the side of this building, second mission, you have to climb up the side of the building to get in. So you climb up here with these pipes, and it goes to third person view. And it's basically guess which way to push the button mode, because you can't really see a path. So you just have to keep climbing, and I can't go any further. I best try going left now. But this is where it gets really bad. One point, you need to go from one set of pipes to the ones just above it. So you push up and you climb to the next set, and then you carry on climb. A little while later on, you're trying to get out of the building again. You come to another climbing segment. So you climb up it, and I'm climbing along, and I see another set of pipes above the one I'm exactly like another set of pipes exactly above the one I'm on, exactly like the start of the level. So I think, I'll climb up there. Oh, it's not working. So I shuffle round, keep trying to climb up. Oh, it's not working. So I see a ledge underneath. Oh, perhaps I need to jump down. Push down button, nothing happens. I have to realise, after just basically button mashing, I eventually find I had to hit the jump button, so I drop down, and then he'll climb across. It's like, it's so... For something that's meant to be intuitive, it's so unintuitive.
It's funny you should mention this, because I played the demo of the new Castlevania the other day, and the game starts off in pretty much the same way. Maybe climbing is the way forward for gaming.
I wouldn't mind the climbing so much if it was consistent. But the fact is, they taught me this rule that you could climb from one set of pipes to the other, and then said, no, you can't.
Yeah, this game did exactly the same
Why
thing.
can't I? It's exactly the same setup as before. It's like the road powers. Road powers, you shoot into beams of wood. Okay, but not all the beams of wood, only certain ones that you're allowed to shoot into. Some which look like it should be it, and there is actually a way to tell. There's like ropes around it, but sometimes it's so hard to see them that you have to just guess. And so that's a mechanic I hate. The action burn itself is terrible. Another example of the action burn, I wanted to jump down from somewhere. There's like another ledge opposite me, so I went to jump down. You can't walk off an edge. You can't just walk off. You can run off an edge, but you can't just walk off an edge. So I thought, oh, I'll jump down. I was looking down, hit the jump button, and he just jumped to the next ledge. I didn't want to go there. I was like, stop trying to second guess me. Ironically, the side missions are more like a traditional Thief level, in that you get put into an area with a building, and you can approach it any way you want, without the tools you want. You get in, you do the little thieving, you get out. Ironically, the side missions are closer to a proper Thief game and more fun than the main game. Because obviously, being a linear level, at the very end of it, you get a scripted, I've been caught, you now need to make a run for it sequence.
And Thief was anything but linear. The first three games were not linear at all.
Yeah. And of course, as you're doing your running race sequence, there's a bit where you walk on a rooftop and you fall through the rooftop, and so the guards hear you and they come looking for you. It's like, there's no way I could have avoided that. I had to fall through the rooftop.
In Deadly Shadows, didn't they make it at the start? The first 3 or 4 missions, you can actually pick which ones you wanted to do. You didn't have to do them in a specific order.
Sort of. There was like 2 missions at the very start which you had to do.
Yeah.
You had the tutorial in the pub.
You had a Paganites and a Hammerites mission.
You had a tutorial in the pub, and then you went straight from the tutorial in the pub to the next mission, which was in a castle. And then you got put into the city, and that's when you got to pick between either Hammerites or Pagans. It didn't matter which order you did them in. So you could do either. Yeah, brilliant.
I like the little side missions as well, because didn't the Hammerites and the Pagans post you specific missions, like kill the little bugs that were rusting everything?
They did. There wasn't really like a side mission per se, because you had to, but it was basically you do these 2 cases of thieving. They
were
both
faction based, weren't
they both find out you've been their thief and you've stolen from them, so you had to do these little tasks to get them back to your liking.
I did it so that I maxed out the Hammerites and the Pagans' friendship, so they both
easy.
thought I was brilliant.
You can do that in one night. You can actually do that as soon as you got the because I've played that one about 6 times.
Yeah, it's a good game.
And as soon as I've got as soon as I got to the bit where you need to max this out, I knew all the bogs were, all the keystones you had to shoot, and so I just did it all in one go. And by that evening, so I could walk into all the pagan territories and all the Hammers territories absolutely fine, which is actually quite good, actually. One other thing I loved about Deadly Shadows, though, was I remember the first time I died in the streets. The very first time you die in the streets, you don't die. You die in the streets, and you think, oh, game over. I thought I was about to hit the escape button to be at the load screen, and all of a sudden I just hear his voice, and it goes, I think it's going to something like, take him to Havelock. I thought, hey, what's this? You get took to prison. You get taken to prison because you've been killed. It doesn't mention it anywhere in the game.
Yeah.
Doesn't say anything about it. It's only if you die, you get took to prison. You then have to escape out of prison. It doesn't happen every time. Once you've done it once, they sort of...
Yeah, that's it
gets
it?
known that they don't give you a second chance. Once you've done it once, that's it. You have to get out. But that's what a genius idea that was. That sold
it
the
was
game.
worth doing as well, wasn't it? Because you could steal things from the prison.
You could. That sold the game to me. That really did. Once I thought, what a neat little detail. Right. Back to Thief the Prick 4. So, it fails in every way. I mean, it's got some nice features to it. I like the way that when you want to investigate, say, a bookshelf or picture for hidden button, you actually see your hands touch the frame, and you can feel around the edge using the mouse. You can feel around the edge and look for this hidden button. That's quite cool.
I'd seen that. That did look quite neat.
A friend of mine described it as Garrett runs around like a velociraptor with his hand extended in front of him.
I thought it looked like he was running around like he was going to grope everybody. Because he does, he sort of sits there with his hands I'm not quite sure why he walks around like that, but it's only when he's in crouch mode, which he spends most of the game in anyway. So that's quite nice. And the fact that you have customizable difficulty. So obviously the game's got a focus mode in it. And if you don't know, basically it meant you could highlight things for you. which is very anti-thief like
it makes
game.
the game very easy.
But you can switch off. So I switched off. Customers did, so I switched off completely. I can't ever use it, which is actually a benefit because all the money you have to spend money to upgrade focus. Because I haven't got focus, all the money I would normally spend on upgrading, I can spend on other things, and all the stuff I get given that I can, like all the, you have poppies, I think it is. Is it poppies? Yeah, it's poppies, I think it is, that you use to basically you eat to rebuild your focus up. But because I don't have focus, I just get them, I sell them all. And that's a neat little thing.
I kind of don't like that because whereas I find focus to be a very casual thing, like, you know, you need that to help you, I then kind of find the benefits you get for not having focus to also be a bit casual. I'd rather the game was just hard, like the old Thieves.
You can make it hard if you can make it really hard if you want to. You can really increase detection. You can do things like limit what types of arrows you can use. You can have. I think you can. I'm trying to remember because it was about a week ago. So I did this. I think you can say no upgrades.
In fact, like I think my love for the original Thief games comes from the fact that they were so tough.
Oh yeah,
you couldn't just go in and fight. You had to sneak around. That was the way it worked, and that was the beauty of it. I had a game that actually gave me a challenge.
Exactly. What Thief did very well. What Dishonored did quite well, what Say Being Hunted as well, stealth games. When I say Thief, I mean the original series of Thief,
yeah.
Sorry. What they do very well is this is what a good stealth game should do. Simultaneously make you feel the most powerful person in the world, but also the most vulnerable person in the world.
Absolutely.
Whereas Garrett, you had the ability, if you got a drop on somebody, you could take out pretty much anybody with one blow to the head. But if you got spotted, done, dead. You had to really get away from it. Thief 4 does the opposite. It basically makes you feel like the most powerful person in the world, but not vulnerable at all. I was never worried about the guards, because also within like the first time after first mission, I was able to afford basically one upgrade that basically made the game trivial.
I have to admit as well, Thief turned me into a bit of a pacifist. I kind of like the guards in Thief because of the whole aspect with the Benny character and the other characters you came across. I didn't actively want to kill them, which made me more stealthy because I wanted to sneak around and blackjack them, you know. So, yeah.
You could just knock them out. And there's an upgrade you get called the wrench. And basically, it's not a wrench, it's actually more like a socket set. And basically, you undo things. So you can undo like these plates which you collect. I say plates mean like brass plates outside buildings.
Right.
But you can undo these like vents, and you can crawl into the vents. The guards AI have no idea how to respond to that. So if you're being, I was playing my special pre-order bonus bank mission, which was actually a very good mission.
Oh dear.
But it's very short. I was playing that, and guards spotted me, so I ran up to a vent I unlocked. I lifted the vent up, climbed in full view of the guards, climbed in, they just went, "Where'd you go?" What? Oh, and moving about face, and they just decided to go back to what they were doing.
Fans will understand the joke of just a box.
Yeah, just a box. I was like, "Oh, come on, guys! You've put this in here. It's got things like it's got lockers you can hide in. If the guards see you go on a locker, they will come and open it up and have you." But they don't seem to have any idea how to deal with you going to an event. Because guards in previous Thief games, they would do clever things. So, Deadly Shadows, if you got caught by a guard and you climbed up somewhere, they'd say, "How'd you get up there?" If there was two of them, one of them would run off to go find someone who's an archer. And one of them would stay there so you couldn't go anywhere. And they'd bring back the one with the archer to shoot you.
They did call for allies.
They did. Cool. And they actually ran off and got help. Whereas in this one, they don't seem to do that. You literally can, if you go over, they seem to have like they seem to be given like a search area. So once they've been triggered, they search that area and they don't go any further. So if you literally, some cases, you can just walk out the room and they won't ever come and look after you. They can sometimes see you go out the room, they won't ever follow you. It's really bizarrely done. The AI sometimes can be absolute genius, but sometimes it can be so thick. It's bizarre, and I'm so disappointed. I love Deus Ex Human Revolution. When I heard Eidos Montreal, I thought, great.
As soon as I saw Square Enix connected to it, I was
Square
just like,
returned to Deus Ex Human Revolution. That was fantastic.
Yeah,
and I thought, Eidos Montreal, okay, you've proven that if you get a series, you can do a decent rebuild prequel to it. You've proven that you can. I trust you now.
But then it turned out it wasn't actually Eidos Montreal, was it? It was
Eidos Montreal, but a different development team inside Eidos Montreal. So Eidos Montreal had like two groups in there, and this is a different group doing it.
And they, unfortunately, got the shit group to do Thief.
Yeah. was thinking about the development of it, and I was thinking in my head what I'd heard from interviews, and I heard that Eidos Montreal got all the team, when they were making Deus Ex, had to play the original Deus Ex, both of them. They had to play them.
Well, that's good.
They said, how can we make a game and get the spirit of the game if we don't know what made it great?
And that's what developers should do.
And I just reckon that the people at Thief read a couple of wikis on it and then looked at Assassin's Creed and thought, we'll copy it. So basically, my message to you, if you've not bought Thief, is don't buy Thief, buy Dishonored Game Review Edition. It's a far better game for Thief.
Buy the original Thief collection.
That as well. But if you want a honourable sequel to Thief, buy Dishonored Game Review Edition. That is closer to a Thief game than Thief is. Because the way the people who made that were, a lot of them were ex-Thief developers, and it shows when you play it.
Cool.
So that's my rant on Thief.
Buy the original Thief games.
Yeah, buy them.
Scratch the new one.
But if you're a PC gamer and you haven't got the original Thief games, you are basically, I hereby ban you from the PC game community, because you should have them. Every PC game should have Thief games.
I did that and it caused a lot of problems. I hate to say it, but to everybody that was talking great about the new Thief, I told you so. I knew it was going to be shit since day one.
So, my rant's over.
When we get games we like, we don't talk about them. We just talk about the ones we hate.
Anyway, tabletop games.
Right. All right. Well, moving on to my section. Excellent.
Yes.
Right. I've been playing a few games. I picked up a bunch of games. I bought Mice and Mystics. I didn't list it on there.
No, you didn't.
Talk about that so much.
I was about to slap you for that because it wasn't in the show notes.
You were aware. God, look, people are listening to me. Right. I wasn't going to talk about that so much. It is a good game, but I've been playing the others a bit more. I picked up Mice and Mystics, Descent, and Lords of Waterdeep. And a friend of mine picked up Munchkin Deluxe Edition, which is very good. So, I've elected to talk about Descent, Munchkin, and Lords of Waterdeep. I'll start with Munchkin, because it is pretty much the most friendly of the games. It's easily approachable. Anyone can play Munchkin. Very simple. I think the guy who made its name is Steve Jackson. He basically described it as he played dungeon games, simple dungeon games. Wasn't happy with how they were, so he decided to add his own rules to make them more interesting. So Munchkin is a dungeon game that's more about backstabbing your friends, which makes it even more fun. It's a bit of a parody of role-playing games. All the little cards you draw have little drawings on them. They're all kind of comical. For example, you can get a tuba, which gives you a benefit that lets you run away quicker. I'm not sure how, but most of the cards revolve around this kind of thing. You have 10 levels that you have to go through. So like leveling up in an RPG, you need to reach level 10. And you get items that give you bonuses to your levels, but not to your leveling up. So basically, they count towards fighting monsters, but not towards your end game level. So the first person to reach level 10 wins the game. Each turn, you draw 2 cards. You draw a door card, and if that card turns up a monster, you have to fight the monster. If it doesn't, you draw another card. If that card turns up a monster, you have to fight it. If not, you've got 2 treasures or something, which is pretty handy. You can have a maximum of 5 cards in your hand at any one time, and then you can have like a satchel where you keep other items. It's quite a quick game, only takes about 20 to 30 minutes, so you get through it quite quickly, but it's bloody good fun. Very, very good game. Definitely highly recommended.
Should we explain to anybody listening what a munchkin is, or that term?
Well, it's just, means, I don't know. It's all it really is I don't know why it's called Munchkin, to be honest with you.
I assume it's named after the type of player called a munchkin.
No, all you really do is you parody role-playing games. You all start off as human, and you start off with whichever gender you're born with. So that's the rule in the game, like human, whatever gender you're born with. So you've got a little card representing yourself. As you draw cards, you might not. You draw treasure, so you get items which you'll basically use to fight other monsters. You'll draw monsters, so you have monsters to fight, but you also draw classes and races. So you're defined by what cards you have at any one time. So you could be a halfling, or you could be an elf, or you could be a cleric as your class, or a thief, or a fighter. So you basically, rather than building your character and min-maxing, it's the opposite of that. You get given what you are based on luck, which is quite fun, really.
So it's all Munchkin most hated games. They can't min-max it.
Yes, yeah, you can't min-max in it, unfortunately. I kind of like that aspect of it, though, because as much as I like games where you can min-max, this throws you off a little bit. It means you have to run with what you've got, which is quite fun.
It is quite bizarre, actually, because, I mean, when I started playing some older RPGs or older style design RPGs, I'd only really play modern ones. I got so used to being able to max out every section of a skill tree.
Yeah.
I got so used to being able to do that. Then I found that some of the old ones, you can't. You make a choice. That's it. You've had it.
Yep.
No respecs either. Once you do it, the only way you want the respect is you just start a new game.
Absolutely.
And if you make a mistake, well, tough. You've made a mistake. And it was such an experience. I thought, I can't be fantastic at everything. I can't have this. So I think it's good I don't play pen and paper RPGs very often, because I probably would be a munchkin if I did.
The opposite is Descent, and Descent has to be one of the best board games I've ever played. Have either of you guys ever played Hero Quest?
I'm getting confused. Is that the one we have the little...
It was a Games Workshop game.
Oh, right, no. Because I was feeling the one with the little models that had like little stats, and as you move around a board, and then as you got hit, you had to like... your stats like went down. Hero Clicks. That's
yeah.
what I'm thinking.
Yeah, they did a Marvel version of that, didn't they?
That's the one I played.
Yeah, I played that too. Yeah, that's quite good. But no, Hero Quest was like, it was made by Games Workshop. It was sort of Warhammer game, sort of a light D&D game. You went through dungeons and you fought monsters and you had a dungeon master and 4 heroes. Descent is the same thing, but it's a lot better. You go through scenarios, you get loads of pieces that you build a map like a puzzle, basically, and you've got a book of quests, so you go through various quests, and you have an overlord and 4 heroes, so it's a 5-player game. One of you is the overlord, which basically means you control all the monsters on the board, and the other 4 people are heroes. Both the heroes and the overlord level up. So when you play scenarios, you go through, you'll play one scenario, you finish that scenario, based on whoever won, be it the overlord or the heroes, you'll get different rewards. It's really, really good. I haven't had so much fun with a game in quite a long time.
So this is like it's sort of RPG element style board game.
It is, yeah. It's like an RPG dungeon crawler. There's less emphasis on the story and character interaction. There's a little bit of story in there just to give you a bit of flavour, but you're mostly going through scenarios and doing skirmishes for certain missions. I've done 3 so far. At the moment, where we've been fighting against a fat goblin called Splig, and I've been in control of Splig and his minions. And I've lost 2 games so far because I've been playing the Overlord, and actually won one, which was a bit of contention amongst our heroes, who got a little bit annoyed that our fat goblin just managed to get away with the loot, mainly due to a line of sight rule which was contended upon, which was, can they hit him? And unfortunately for them, he was so far around the wall that we concluded that no, they can't hit him. He was just out of sight and managed to get away.
As quite a hardcore Warhammer 40,000 player, specifically a Tau player.
We had to get a pencil out and everything.
Line of sights. Well, we used to use a laser pointer at one point when we used to play Tau.
Just to be authentic?
No, just was, be authentic again, because it means you can't hit my tank. I think you'll find Mr. Laser says I can. Our players must hate me.
But yeah, it's really good. I haven't played a game that we've been so involved in quite a while. Definitely recommended. Top of the RPG sort of dungeon crawling genre of gaming. It's 2nd edition as well. There is a version of Descent that came before it, but apparently this one improves upon the original version by adding all the campaign and all the campaign rules that weren't in the original version. So
how a new edition should do it takes the original and improves on it. And tweaks it, well, but not a complete rewrite of it.
I mean, you've got your 4 types of heroes as well. You have your mage, your warrior, your thief, and your cleric, and they each have 2 leveling paths based on cards. So you've got cards that you can then draw, pick which ones you want. You know, it's not random drawing. It is you actually pick through the cards which you want, and then select what ones you want to advance with. So you can build your character. So you can min-max. So you quite like it.
Fantastic. Is it how old is it like you do one mission a session type thing?
If you wanted to, we've
how long does it take
2
to
into 1. You're looking at between about 40 minutes to an hour for
That's
a
not
scenario.
Bad. So an evening you could get through 3 or 4 actually in a good
Although
evening.
we had a really bad scenario. Well, it wasn't bad. It was just a really long scenario the other day where I had 2 dragons that refused to die because I was rolling such good defense dice. So it took a good few hours for our heroes to fail, but they did. Unfortunately for them, fortunately for me. But yes. And the last game on my list is Lords of Waterdeep, which is a Euro style game. Are you familiar with that term? Have you played Settlers of Catan? That's
yes, I have.
Game. It's along those lines, kind of. It's a resource management game. It's based in the Forgotten Realms universe. So we're talking like Drizzt Do'Urden and all that kind of thing. It's set in the city of Waterdeep, which I mentioned last time we were talking about games, and I likened it to Neverwinter and then retracted that because Neverwinter is a different city. I realised my error. What I meant to say was that the expansion to Neverwinter, which puts you in Waterdeep, which is Hordes of the Underdark, I believe.
No idea.
No? Have either of you played Neverwinter?
I played Neverwinter. Is that when it's in Neverwinter? You think it's Neverwinter
Nights? Yeah.
I played number 2 and I hated it.
Yeah, number 2 is not good, but the first Neverwinter game is quite good.
That was fun.
But yeah, Hordes of the Underdark puts you into the tavern. I can't remember the name of it. But that tavern is set in Waterdeep, and the guy who runs it, who's in Neverwinter, is actually one of the characters you can play. But in Waterdeep, you don't pick who you play. You're basically dealt a random card at the beginning of the game. I've got the expansion for it as well. So you've got about 8 or 9 different people that you can be. And each character has a certain end game goal, which gives them more points depending on how they played the game. And you go through the game, basically, it's not like you don't roll any dice. There's no movement based at all. It's all about strategic placement of your agents, which you get given a maximum of 5 of, I think. Depending on how many people are playing, you get less if there's more players. And each turn, you're strategically placing them within the city of Waterdeep to try and maximize your resources. You've got like a load of different cubes. I think there's orange ones, purple ones, black and white, and they represent different types of characters. Like an orange cube is a warrior, a white is a cleric, a black is a rogue, and a purple is a wizard. And you get cards. You've got cards that are intrigue cards, which are basically cards you can play against other players to get you ahead. And then you've got quest cards, which give you more points depending on if you finish them or other advantages. And each quest can come under a different type. So you've got skullduggery, which is your basic thief type quest where you're sending rogues on missions to steal things or to blacken someone's name. You've got quests that are more based around magic, where you're sending your mages out to do things, or piety quests, where you're sending your clerics out to help people, and you get points based on them. And then at the end of the game, you reveal who you were, and depending on who you were playing as, you get more points depending on the quests you did. So, for example, Paladinson, he gets more points based on piety quests. So if he's done more piety quests than any other quests, he gets a point bonus at the end of the game that will shunt him forward. So yeah, there's a lot of strategy involved. It's a very clever game. I quite enjoy it. It took a while to get into, and surprisingly was longer than Descent, even though I thought it would be quicker. But yeah, another well-recommended game, definitely.
Can I just ask, because you're going through all these games, how much are these games to buy?
They are quite expensive. Waterdeep, I had to track down, actually. Funny story.
Did I mention that
I went to that shop?
Yeah,
and they sent it out to me, and I got a really nice letter and everything with it. It was really nice, but it took forever to find. I think it cost me 45 quid. 45 British pounds.
That's not too bad.
That was
to be fair, for a tabletop game, like a sort of decent grown, I would happily pay £45
for sure. Descent was £50, but definitely worth it, because with Descent you get all the pieces to build your maps, you get a whole campaign, you get all your monsters, you get all your heroes. Very well worth the money. Munchkin's only £20.
That's not bad.
That's not bad at all. And the deluxe edition, which is the one I played, which is the same price near enough as the original edition. It gives you, a board and figures, so you can basically keep track of your levels a bit better than you would have otherwise. And the cards are all coloured as well. In the original edition, they're just a basic brownie colour. There's no real sort of other colour in there, which is a bit of a shame. So if you're going to pick up Munchkin, I would definitely recommend a deluxe edition. I will just mention Mice and Mystics as well, as we've got a bit of time. Similar to Descent, the difference being that you only have 4 players. There's no overlord. You roll for the monsters yourselves. So, which I found to be a bit bizarre, really, because as you're moving, you don't really want the monsters to be doing too much damage to you. So where we were having to force ourselves as players to think of what would be the most detrimental move against us.
So it's interesting because, I mean, I've played games where you basically is a cooperative game and you are playing it, but they usually what I'm going to use is Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, and like Shadows of Camelot, which we mentioned last time.
It gives you a set of rules that you have to follow. So it says, like, if you have a enemy Viper in this sector, you must attack it.
Yeah.
If not, you must move towards the near. And you basically go through this list of instructions, and you go down to get the
This game, unfortunately, doesn't do that. So, but because
you have to actually actively be against
because
yourself.
we're fair gamers, we were actively against ourselves, and we kind of screwed ourselves over a few times because we were playing as the enemies too well, which hurt the game a little bit, I felt. But the reason why it's not a regrettable purchase, I am glad I bought it, is aesthetically it is a very, very nice game. The figures are fantastic. The little models you get for the mice, very well sculpted, really nice looking. The boards and the cards and everything themselves, I can't think of who the artist was for them, but the artwork is fantastic. Some of the best I've ever seen. Everything's very nicely put together. And you get a book with it, which is your quest guide. But unlike Descent, which just gives you a little bit of flavour, this book has a whole story in it. So I'd say it was a very good game for families to pick up, because if you've got children, they're really going to be into this, because it's a bit easier than Descent. There's not so many rules, not so rules heavy. Funnily enough, that made it harder for us. While we were playing Descent quite easily, playing Mice and Mystics was like, it almost seemed too simple in some ways. But yeah, playing it with your kids, you're going to have the book, you're going to be able to read through the story and get to know the characters. And I think that gives it a nice element, and I enjoy it based upon that. Whereas with Descent, I enjoy it more because of the mechanics and the complexity involved in playing. I kind of enjoy Mice and Mystics based more on the story.
You mentioned that it was a 4-player game, but you there to take a turn as the enemy.
Yeah.
Would it be possible to play it with, say, a 5th person who
we have discussed this, and we're thinking about doing it. I haven't done it yet, but next time we play it, we're thinking of playing it with an enemy player. But because there aren't so many rules allowed, I don't think it would work so well as with Descent, because Descent gives you cards. The Overlord levels with the players in Descent. So because of that, the Overlord is quite fun to play. Whereas with Mice and Mystics, I think you'd feel more like you're playing a faceless character by having your minions just doing the attacks.
I suppose if there's 5, you could cycle it around the group, perhaps.
Perhaps, yeah, that might be a good idea. Yeah, but it did just end up, because some of the people I game with are notorious for getting bored of games quite quickly if it's a bit too much for them. So it did end up with every turn I was doing the enemies, which got a little bit boring after a while. But that's my only gripe with the game. Other than that, very good game.
Perfect. Well, stuff we're looking forward to.
Nothing.
Nothing for Luke.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
Well, I'm looking forward to. I've shown the other 2 today before we started. New game called Alien Isolation. I can't want to say insulin for some reason. Alien Insulin.
Your diabetic aliens.
Yeah. Alien Isolation, what I've done is...
For a minute, though, I for some reason I thought he said alien insulation. I was like, fuck, we're stuffing aliens in our walls now?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Or alien installation, where they come around and do your plumbing for you.
Is that what happened to them after Colonial Marines? They started rebuilding stuff. And...
Alien insubordination. It's mutiny on this alien
ship. They keep going on about all these illegal aliens coming to the country. I'm guessing that's what they mean. Xenomorphs come around nicking our jobs. You'll down to your local, Morrison's, and you'll see a xenomorph behind the till manning it for you.
That would kind of creep me out a bit if I had to be honest. Like, hang on, I don't know what
illegal aliens. I'm xenophobic.
Anyway, Alien Isolation. So, whereas I think it's fair to say all previous Alien games have always been based on Aliens,
yeah,
i.e. the second film, or Aliens 2 as I prefer to call it. all based on that series. So it's all been very actiony, first-person shooter, go around, boom, 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 shoot at hundreds of xenomorphs, there, go for it. But in my opinion, in the Alien franchise, the best film of the lot has to be the original Alien. Brother Ridley Scott, the very number one, the very best.
It's my
film.
favourite one as well.
Because it was a horror film, but science fiction horror, and it redefined, in my opinion, a lot of the sci-fi of the time. It was very gritty. It was a worn, used feature. It's designed to look like someone they'd like done the old repair here and there, sort of slightly badly in their spaceships. It's very used feature. And what the key thing about it, if you've never seen it, very brief summary: the deep space mission, miners pulling back a tug of a refinery back to Earth with minerals on it. They get a distress call, go into a planet, and one of the crew gets fed by this alien, which then bursts out of him and it goes round the vessel, and it picks them off one by one. It's just one enemy and it picks off one by one. It's a suspense horror thriller.
I guess that's where the whole name Alien comes from.
Yes.
There's one.
I have to admit, I think it's terrible that because of the games, the xenomorphs have got a bad reputation of being weak now, haven't they? You play any of the Alien vs Predator games, even going back to the arcade game, which I love, which is kind of like a Street Fighter kind of game.
You can't talk about it then because you like it.
Yeah, that's true.
I think the thing about that, I think there always a counter argument is that in the second film they were the first one they were just miners. They had no real equipment to fight them off with. The second film they actually had Marines.
Even
they could, although they did lose all their men, they could put up more of a fight than the first.
I was going to say,
it's logical. It's logical.
Even in the second film, they got screwed over badly. It wasn't like the aliens were weak, was it? They really messed them up. Whereas where the games, you just blow them away by the thousands, aren't you? Which is silly.
You do. It's a nightmare to play them. And
if you haven't played the original Alien vs Predator game, I would advise you do, because there's a very, very funny and cool caricature of Arnie in it. You can play as Dutch from Predator, which is quite cool, yeah. But for some reason, the female character is like some generic anime woman, whereas I would have preferred it if you could have Ripley, which would have been awesome if you could have Dutch and Ripley fighting back to back.
I've played Alien vs Predator 2, and I borrowed it from a friend of mine. I loved it so much, I actually ended up swapping it for a headset.
The first one's quite good. I mean, me and a friend used to play one of the skirmish missions, and we'd pick Marines, and you basically set the difficulty right up. So it's just you, 2 Marines against shitloads of aliens, and you were going to die. There was no contention about that.
I think it's really an amusing thing that the Alien vs Predator is not often the computer games are better than the films.
Yeah.
And Alien vs Predator was a series that was better as a game than it was ever as a film.
Oh well, yeah, the Alien vs Predator films are terrible.
Oh, they are universally rubbish. Anyway, sidetrack there. So Alien Isolation. So the game's good. So a horror game. So there's only one enemy in it. You've got no weapons in it at all. You've only got a scanner in it, and it's got a cool effect where if you focus on the scanner to watch what is happening on the scanner, everything else blurs, like in real life, actually.
I kind of likened it to the what Luke was talking about last podcast, I believe, which was the Zombie U thing. We have to look at the
You look down at the gamepad to be able to see what's going on in your backpack and stuff. But because you're having to look down at the screen, you're looking away from the screen, the actual main screen, and then the zombie comes along and chews on your asshole.
But it's interesting because, as we were saying watching the video, no one's really done that blurry screen effect before when you're looking at something. So it's
not
quite
as far
cool.
as I'm aware. But something that's interesting, I've been reading a bit about the AI of the alien, and it will learn. Although it's unclear whether it's as adaptive learning, where actually what it learns from what you do, or whether it's got pre-scripted. Once you're so far through the game, you will start doing this setup. It's unclear which way it's going, but it'll do things like if it learns you like to hide in lockers or hide behind certain things. If you then do something that it flags up that it thinks this is unusual, it'll go back and look where your hiding spots you like to go to are, see if that's you.
As soon as I think of hiding in lockers, I think of the Easter egg from Metal Gear 2. Does anyone else remember that? Snake jerking it in a locker.
Dude, I don't remember diddly
squat
squat about
about
Metal Gear 2.
Lean back and forward rapidly.
Yeah, and then you call Loticon up on the on the codec, and Snake's pulling a bit of a weird expression, and he's like, "Snake, what are you doing?" And it's just a bit strange.
But it's the same. It does the same if you look at the pictures of the naked ladies on the ship and then ring them up.
Yeah.
So Starlight is based on the very first film, so it's very sort of
You can't do that in this game.
70s version of the future. I don't know if you can hide. Well, I just said you can hide in lockers, so you must be able to. The xenomorph in it is really creepy. It looks really creepy. I mean, it looks like sort of Amnesia meets Metric 2030 for 33. So that fear and horror, I can just see it's going to be one of those games that you're going to play for like an hour at a time and you're just going to have to stop because you won't be able to handle it anymore. Because I can remember how scared I got playing Amnesia 1 to the point where it threw loads of pigs at me.
Well, how long was the original Amnesia? Because I'm thinking if
That's
it's going to be like...
Right, Amnesia Dark Descent, I think it was about 10, 12 hours, I think. But Machine for Pigs was only about 5. But to be fair, I'd be happy with that. If it's because it's one of those things that could easily become old quick. I think that's all mechanic.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'd rather have a short game that's mechanic that doesn't outstay its welcome than a long game where you get bored.
No, I agree with that. I think
it.
that sometimes people get caught up in longevity, don't they? And sometimes the game doesn't need to have too much going on.
I mean, I've got to ask because there's not really a lot we know about the game. At what point in development is this?
It's due for release end of the year.
Okay.
Got one.
Interestingly, from what I was reading from another game website, apparently it's been done by Creative Assembly, so not by Gearbox, who made Colonial Marines, which we don't talk about.
I don't like Gearbox.
But they're both in production at the same time. This was quite far along when the Colonial Marines came out, and that was basically rubbish. They think that if it wasn't for the fact that this was so far along in production, that it would probably have been axed.
They'd have pulled it.
So we're actually quite lucky that Colonial Marines actually came out and although it was patterned, at least this game stayed alive because of it.
Yeah.
Because if it had been the next game, it would have probably not been made. But it looks, I mean, I've just watched a few videos of it, and they're all basically the same. There's not a lot been released yet. But
the video you showed me of it looks good. I have to admit, it looks cool. I like the look of it.
I'm looking forward to it. You can already see it on the Steam shop already. You can't pre-order it or buy it yet, but it's already on there, so it must be getting reasonably close to release. So I'm looking forward to that. Luke, we've got a little bit of a brief respite over Dark Souls 2.
Yeah, this is all because you threw up that you'd picked up Grand Theft Auto 4, which uses games for Live. That thing. And recently, a chap I occasionally watch on YouTube threw up that Games for Windows Live is being shut down, has been shut down or whatever. And you were mentioning how you were having troubles with saving the game.
The marketplace has already been shut down.
Okay.
The service, we believe, is being shut down, I think, July or June the 1st. So not long away yet. But for Grand Theft Auto, this is why Grand Theft Auto annoyed me. You have to sign. Basically, have 3 sets of DRM with it. You've got Steam, fine, happy with that. You've then got Rockstar Social Club, which is a bit of annoyance. You have to sign into that, and then you've got Games for Windows Live. Now, if you don't sign into Games for Windows Live, you can't autosave. Okay. You can't do the multiplayer or anything like that at all. The amount of hassle I had trying to connect... I have got a Games for Windows Live account from when I had to have it stored for Fallout 3. The amount of hassle I've had trying to track down that account details, because it doesn't recognise any of my email addresses, but I can't remember if I signed up with a gamer tag, an email, how I did it. Can't find information about it, but it doesn't recognise any email address I put into it. It says this is not recognised. I've tried all my usual password combination, not recognised. So I went to create a new account. So I created a new account, did all it said, tried to sign in, if it couldn't sign in, would not sign in. And I thought, well, crap, is this really on the way out to dying? So I got so fed up that I've basically not been able to save a bloody game because you can't sign to games when I was stupid. Why should you? There's no reason for that. There's no reason you have to sign in for it at all. Then I got thinking, if this is being shut down, if this is not patched out, what's going to happen in July when I try and run the game again?
See, now this is why I wanted to bring this up, because we've just mentioned Dark Souls 2. Well, Dark Souls 1 Prepare to Die edition for PC needs Games for Windows Live.
And I will jump in here to say that Games for Windows Live on the original Dark Souls, as somebody who has Dark Souls on PC, is awful. And one of the main reasons why is because Dark Souls relies on its multiplayer component, which allows you to basically call people into your realm to help you if you're in a situation where you're in trouble or you want to fight a boss, or allows people to invade you. Being invaded doesn't seem to be any problem, but when I attempt to summon somebody to help me, because Games for Windows Live is so notoriously awful, I can never do it. I've got literally about a 20% chance of actually succeeding in calling someone in to help in my game. Games for Windows Live is that bad. It's just no good at all.
Which is why they're getting rid of it.
Yeah, I remember I had an issue with Fallout 3 that Games for Windows Live updated itself and it said, you need to update Games for Windows Live before you can continue playing, otherwise you'll get no achievements and no saves. Oh, great, thanks. Saves, achievements I couldn't give a damn about, but saves, I want my saves.
I'd hope,
yeah.
I don't want to save.
I update Games for Windows Live. Right, fine, load, log in. You need to update Games for Windows Live. I've just done that. Okay, update. You need to update Games for Windows Live. Okay. Perhaps it's got one of these weird ones that updates one at a time.
So you ended up in an update loop.
Yeah, so I thought, okay, and I'll download it completely fresh. I installed it completely, got rid of it on my screen, found, tracked all its registry commands, got rid of it. Download it from my Microsoft website. Right, again. You need to update Games for Windows Live. How can you not have the latest version of Games Live on your own website?
I hate it when they do that.
Yeah, and I thought to myself, what happens if I patch Fallout 3? So I download the patch, Professor, patch Fallout 3, Games Windows Live. Oh yeah, that's fine, you can log in now.
So they removed it.
It was Games for Windows Live wouldn't work because Fallout 3 hadn't been patched.
Because the patch of Fallout 3, yeah.
Because it hadn't been patched. It couldn't figure out that Fallout 3 was the problem, not it.
Right.
And it kept telling me it
you know something sucks when it instantly thinks that it's the problem.
yeah, good point. But Fallout 3 is now being patched to remove Games for Windows Live. But how far back will developers go for their old games?
Well, that's what I was getting at, in that a few folks have been saying, well, we can't save in Dark Souls anymore because of the whole Games for Windows Live requirement. And they all brought up, much as I've been thinking, and you've just mentioned,
they're all casuals. You can play through it without saving.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. Play through Dark Souls without saving. You're gonna be sitting there with, I don't know, Red Bull.
The hardest of the core.
It's gonna be like nailed into your arm, dude. But seriously, how far will they go back? How do you get
the achievement for doing that?
Oh god. Fuck. The sooner they get rid of achievements, the happier I'll be. But how far will they go back? What is going to happen to a lot of these games when these services get shut down? The ones that are tied directly into the DRM that we don't fucking need.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, and that's my concern. I mean, Fallout has been patched. The Professor do it, so hopefully Professor will do any other games that use it. But will Rockstar do it? Will they patch all their games? Because I'm starting to enjoy GTA 4, but am I not going to be able to play it anymore?
I mean, you can guarantee, because it's a PC game, the fans are going to find a way to patch it, but it's a case of we shouldn't have to.
No, but the fans, the thing is, there aren't that many hacks for it at the moment anyway. You think they'd have already hacked it by now to get around it. I would
think if anyone were going to deal with it, Rockstar would. Rockstar are kind of a decent company in that respect. I think they're more likely to fix it than Windows Live or Windows Games for Windows Live or whatever are.
I mean, who would issue the patch in the end? Do you think Microsoft
the developer would have to issue it?
Yeah, because if Bethesda did
it... what I mean is, could they not just come up with, say, a universal patch?
Yeah.
And then you click it, and it just kind of...
But it depends how the game interacts with Game for Windows Live. If it's using presumably, I've never programmed with it, so I don't know. I'm guessing it connects via an API. Depending on how that interacts and what it asks for from the service...
Not an antivirus would do it. Games for Windows Live has been reported as a virus. Get rid of it.
Yeah, but I mean, if it's a case of all it does ask a few things, and presumably Microsoft could release a bit of a program that literally it would connect to in lieu of Games for Windows Live, and we would report back, oh yeah, this is fine, just do it. But this is Microsoft. They're not going to do that.
No.
Microsoft wouldn't do that thing. They would just give you something, oh, well, we believe that our gamers won't be playing those old games on other month, and they won't do it.
Well, horse shit. That drives me nuts when they do that with games. Full stop. When, say, a game it's heavy online, so
just
a game
we won't be playing your games because they're shit doesn't mean we won't want to play other games.
Well, so there was a game I used to love back in the day called Crime Hounds. I've mentioned it before. It's basically a mech game that was on the Xbox 360. Loved it. Single player was basically just training to get you online. It was a massive war against all these other players. Obviously, there'd only be like 3 or 4 mechs on screen at any one time, but you had 3 huge factions. You'd choose which faction you wanted to fight for at the start of the game. Well, at some point, they decided, hey, don't need the servers for that. Gone. Game was effectively dead. You couldn't do anything with it. It was just a tutorial at that point.
Exactly. Tour for a game that doesn't exist.
It terrifies me, seriously, how many games we are going to lose because of unnecessary DRM. Yeah. People are finally starting to be, enlightened. DRM isn't necessary.
And to those of you that have just been enlightened, welcome, it's taken you bloody long enough. It does annoy me that people have been defending this crap for so long, and that they've been so tied to franchises, they were almost religiously indoctrinated into defending their chosen sort of company.
Certain DRM systems I have no objection against. Steam I have no objection against. Although same issue, if Steam went bust tomorrow,
exactly,
I don't think it's going to.
I mean, but at least Steam does give you some benefits, which some of the others do not.
But it's very unintrusive DRM.
And Origin, for example.
Origin, don't get me started on Origin. I only have Origin because I want to have Mass Effect 3, and that's the only way to play it.
Shame on you, Nick. Shame on you.
Well, I had a choice. I want to play Mass Effect 3 to finish the series off. I have to have Origin. Oh, yeah, you're a bunch of bastards, but I have to have it because I want to finish the series off.
I picked up Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. That was when the studio that did it, 38 Studios, went bust. And I thought, I want to know what the game's like. I mean, people keep telling me it's shite, and I said I weren't going to play
MMO without being an MMO.
Yeah, I mean, I picked it up because it was cheap, but the trouble was they didn't say where I had picked it up. So it was the PC code off of Gamersgate, and I was like, is it going to be Origin? Is it going to be Steam? It was Origin. And I wanted to cry. I didn't even bother, setting it up from that point. Yeah. So I ended up going out and buying it on the console, so I wouldn't have to have an Origin account.
It's just such a horrible, horrible thing.
It really is.
So this is why people pirate.
Yeah, it is, for sure.
Absolutely.
It's by parcel of the DRM. It's not because they necessarily want to pirate, but making games hard. I mean, the amount of hassle it took me half an hour to get playing GTA 4. It shouldn't take me half an hour to play a game.
Ubisoft and EA take notice.
EA did that with the new SimCity, didn't they? And they reckon that it only took them about 5 minutes to patch it out. And they were like, no, it's a requirement to make the game work. You need an internet connection online to get it to work.
So
and it's like
stupid.
They patched it out, and it's like, well, the game hasn't changed.
Yeah.
Look, let's be honest. EA, whatever they say,
scum.
They are absolute scum. The way they treat their gamers is scum. They don't care about their gamers. They are your proper corporate mob. They're no better than Microsoft.
Haven't they won the Golden Poop Award for the second year running?
I was just saying that 3 years now.
Yeah,
we're coming on. That will be 3 years.
Something
probably.
Like that. Yeah, they're going to get it every year.
DRM, burn it all.
Yes.
Sooner rather than later. I just hope that these games get patched out because I went to dig out Dark Souls on the PlayStation 3 again, and I thought to myself, you know what, I'd love to play it on the PC. Because they've actually announced Dark Souls 2 on PCs coming out in April.
See, because, Dark Souls, other than the Windows Live crap, which is just not being able to connect, they, From Software, have sort of said, we are sorry that the game doesn't run as well on PC, but I haven't had any troubles with it. Other than the Games for Windows Live stuff and the failure to connect other players because of it, the actual game itself runs fairly smoothly.
From what I understand, locked frame rate, lower resolution, and all this other gump.
Well,
but that did
stuff
get
like that doesn't
out.
Matter to me. I've never been.
As long as the game plays, it doesn't really matter.
The gameplay's fine. It's not a.
I was playing it on console, so locked frame rate, no biggie to me. Low resolution, not really all that bothered.
Absolutely.
The game was hard as nails and was fun as hell, so.
Yeah.
Oh
dear.
But Dark Souls 2 comes out next week?
Exactly sure, to be honest with you.
Consoles, PC comes out next month.
Swept up with tabletop stuff. I haven't really been concentrating on the old video game scene.
But I'm just hoping, please don't throw in some kind of stupid DRM. Please don't ask me to sign up to something else. And if you don't fix Dark Souls, I swear I will come to your studio and slap you so hard. Like your skull will just explode.
I think
I'll invade you.
I think if I was
with my fist.
I'm saying this now, but I'm not. If I become a big size developer and I start making money off games, when it gets to the point where the game isn't selling really anymore, I would just remove any DRM if I had any on it. The only DRM I probably would have be Steam, and if it didn't have that, I would just remove it, because after it gets to the point it's not selling anymore, what's the point? Might as well just let people play it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would love, if I was a developer, right, I'd say, okay, the game is out, licenses galore, you pay for the game, it's yours, there's no DRM. At some point, say after a couple of years, sales have completely dropped off, just put it on my own website for free. Let them pull it down.
The only reason I'd have DRM with a game if I'd release the game is just it would be outside of the game releasing itself, so that people who had the DRM, if you had Steam and you wanted your, like, I know how OCD some people are, they want all their games on Steam, on a Steam thing, it would purely be so that they could have it on their Steam thing, and then they could buy outside of it if they wanted. Both options would be there if I had my way. I
may change my tune when I get to the point of actually releasing a game for money. I may change my tune, but at the moment, that's my personal plan. I'm going to tell them I'm going to be always horrible. I'll be the next EA, I reckon. If
be noble, don't become scum.
Yeah,
don't become EA.
I'll try and be nice.
Seriously, if I have to give you the Golden Turd Award 1 year, that's going to be...
You'd have to fall pretty far to become EA.
Yeah. We've decided to... Well, actually, we're going to come to EA in our other news section in a second.
Oh, piss.
Other news. And the EU, and if you live in America, the EU is like a version of you that everybody hates each other within it.
It's like a version of you that kisses Brussels' ass, basically.
Yeah. The EU is considering trying to ban the term free-to-play for games which have microtransactions. Their argument being that games that are with microtransactions are inherently not really
This sums up
free-to-play.
the EU, basically. Of all the things they could focus on, they focused on free gaming.
Yeah, but, someone's got to. And I semi-agree.
It's the EU.
I
Hurrah.
semi-agree with their point.
I kind of as well, yeah.
Can we run down this? Because I haven't read the article, so...
Okay. What they're saying is that it follows on a bit from the Office of Fair Trade did a report onto free-to-play gaming, and basically came up saying they don't think free-to-play games are fair for consumers. They don't think they're very open. They don't think they make it very clear that when you buy a free-to-play game, you're going to have to spend money to actually get anything out of it.
I have to be fair, when I see the term free-to-play, I instantly think, rubbish. I just don't touch it. Free-to-play games that I've played in the past.
Phantasy Star Online 2 is free-to-play, and that's amazing.
All right, well, Phantasy Star
2 is free-to-play.
Yeah, that was pretty fun.
It depends how they've done it. If they do it in such a way that you can still play the game without, having to spend money, then fine. If it's a situation where, in my opinion, a game you can't complete, or someone who pays money has an unfair advantage over you, that's not on.
Absolutely.
I've noticed people pay money for customization, buy some new skins or something, or, bodywork for their car if it's a car. I've nothing against that. That doesn't worry me, because you can still play without it.
It's aesthetic, isn't it? It's nothing big.
So also training said they've looked into it, and they said that basically they've come up, we always knew that free-to-play games actually cost a lot more for consumers than they did if they just bought them outright.
Yeah.
We always knew that anyway. And they're saying that it's very bad for the biggest ones they're worried about are children. Because obviously they can download these games to their Androids, because some children have tablets and stuff. They can download them, or they can download them through your I've forgotten the computer constantly things on your TV.
Oh, yeah. And then they can accidentally make a transaction.
Exactly. And there was a case a few months ago that happened in the UK. I can't remember how old he was, but he downloaded, he didn't realise he was buying games, and he downloaded £420 worth of games. And unfortunately and tragically...
So in this day and age, that's 2 games?
Yeah, about that, yeah.
Tragically, he said to his parents, when his parents found out he'd spent this much money, they said to him, sorry, you can't have any Christmas presents because we've got to pay this massive bill. So he hung himself.
I want to jump in, because I was going to kind of jump on everyone and say, right, well, if you're an asshole and you don't put on parental controls, because one of the big ones way back in the day was a game on the iPhone called Smurf's Village or something, and children were basically buying Smurf berries or something for like £900 or something crazy like that. Like a kid would sit there and just spam the button because they didn't realise that you had to pay actual money to get this stuff in this game. Right. So there are a lot of parents saying, hey, whoa, where the hell did this come from? They're spending my money and I didn't say they could spend my money. Give me my money back. It got to the point where there is an option on these devices that says you have to put in passwords for in-app purchases. But if a lot of these parents aren't putting them in and they're just giving them to their kids with credit cards
as a counter to that, if you were someone who wasn't that up on technology and you've got your kids' device and you look at it and you see, oh, this is a nice little game about, oh, I know, bunny rabbits and stuff, and they get to have their own little bunny rabbit farm and they get to breed them, you won't necessarily tweak the actual fact that you might have to pay for it. So it's a case of not so much ignorance, it's more a case of just not knowing.
No, I understand that.
I think to say they should put parental controls, and it's a bit
should
of an
be
unfair.
On by default.
Yes, it should be on by default. They should, and when they try and take it off, it should say, "Whoa." If
Mummy,
you take this,
my rabbit's multiplying.
If you take this off, you realise you're going to be basically allowing someone unlimited funds to pay for things.
Yeah.
What they're basically have suggested doing is either putting a restriction on how much can be spent.
Yeah, which they do on mobile devices now.
Yep. They've got some other ideas. I've got their statement of what they actually want to achieve.
Before you say that, have they got any games that are guilty? The big ones they say that.
This is I was going to come to this.
I was going to say it's one of the big ones. That Simpsons one that's come out.
That's come out recently. But
and the Dungeon Keeper.
The big one that is basically caused a shitstorm is Real Racer 3. And guess which manufacturer made that? Company made that?
EA.
I put money on EA.
Bing! EA made it. And basically, every part of the game, you have to pay for it.
See, now, I'm going to jump in here and say that one of the bigger reasons I hate EA and other... Well, not that I need many, but I've got thousands. One of my old favourite games growing up on the PC was Dungeon Keeper. Bloody brilliant strategy sim game where you had to raise a dungeon for the monsters. Unfortunately, this game now, it was made by Bullfrog at the time, which was when Peter Molyneux used to be good. This was prior to the days of Fable, when he used to make good games. Yeah, he went crazy and said, you can do anything in my games, which you can't, except suck horribly. But yeah, he basically was making good games back then. And EA, unfortunately, now own Bullfrog. So they've used this to make a Dungeon Keeper game for phones, where, like Nick just said, you have to pay for literally everything. In Dungeon Keeper, the idea was to dig rooms. You basically dug a little bit of sort of earth out and you built rooms in them for your monsters, and you could have like hatcheries where they could eat, or areas where they could sleep, or areas where they could learn skills. Every piece of dirt you dig out in a new Dungeon Keeper is going to cost you a fair bit of money. So you're paying for absolutely everything that you do in the game. Not only that, the game is a lackluster, horrible version of the original. It doesn't even compare in the slightest. And people are going to be paying out of the arse to basically play this game.
And I'm guessing also, is there no way you can earn like credits or whatever you call it in-game?
You can, but it's going to take you days and days and
months
days
and
and days.
I mean, it's a bit like the one Real Racer 3. They give an example. I read it got mentioned actually in the article. I got all this information when I mentioned it, and I went to look it up. And it's a racing game for the phone. The previously been very highly praised, and it's a very good racing game. Unfortunately, as you go on track, you accrue damage from wear and tear and so forth. Now, when you get back, you can either spend credits you've earned, but often they won't be enough, or you can pay real money to have damage repaired. They say the game is set up in such a way that, actual fact, it's very hard. It'd be very hard to complete the game without paying for it, and that is a type of free-to-play games that need to be stopped on.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, Square Enix did something like that with a Final
why
Fantasy
am I
game
not
recently.
surprised?
And that every time one of your party members died, you could either wait a certain amount of time, which could take hours if you waited for your entire party to come back, or you could pay to get each character respawned.
Square Enix
those
is
energy
basically
mechanics that you have, like some games have, you've got a certain amount of energy you can use, and you have to use it up, and if you don't use it up, and then once you've used it up, you have to wait 24 hours before you can do it again, or you can spend, 50p now and get it.
Square Enix is basically like the snotty little kid at school where you've got your big bad bully, which is EA, who'll beat you up and take your dinner money, and then you've got that snotty little bastard that always hangs around behind them going, yeah, and egging them on. That is Square Enix to EA.
I mean,
the tiny scum.
It wouldn't be so bad if, like, you could, when you bought something, you actually then had it. But things like the repair mechanic, that's a constant money source for them, because you'll never ever, like, you can't buy something that means you'll never have to use it again.
Yeah.
It's just so I'm actually behind EU when it comes to this plan to ban this term free to play. Or make it clearer, at least, what free to play actually is. Although it's technically true, this trouble is it's technically true, but it's such a term that people just don't. It's a very legal, technical term that people just don't understand, pick up. They see the word free.
I'm torn in one aspect because I think people should be brighter than that and should be dumb enough to think that anything is that free, and shouldn't be dumb enough to be giving their children their phones to play games on when they know their credit card details are in there. But at the same time, I don't think that these companies should be able to get away with ripping off people purely because people may not understand it, you know.
This is why we have consumer laws, and I work in retail, and I can see why a lot of these consumer laws exist, and this is one that I believe should be and existing there to prevent this. Because people see the term free, they forget about the to play. They don't understand what free to play actually means.
Nothing is
and
free.
It's not been really that heavily covered. And especially you hear the odd story about it, but it's not really heavily covered. It's not really, people have not got behind it and said, this is what this actually means. Be wary of it.
See, when you said free to play to start with, I thought you'd be talking something along the lines of, I don't know, Secret World, is it not M9, some random dungeon crawler game, stuff like Phantasy Star Online 2, actual free to play games, and then be stuff like Guild Wars 2, which is actually a buy to play. Because you have to pay for the game and then it's free from that point on.
From there, which is fair enough.
But then it just seems like
game model.
It's all just crappy mobile games.
Yeah. Oh yeah, mostly.
So
and there's a few Facebook games in there. Don't forget, you got things like Farmville and stuff.
But I mean, when that's just crap. They're not games to me.
No,
so when I've never ever looked at Farmville and thought that's a free to play game.
No,
ever. I have never associated that with
I would always associate free to play with games like a Rift and stuff like
exactly.
that.
Yeah. I don't know what term they'll use instead, but I have to say I'm pretty much behind the EU on this one.
Yeah, I agree.
I think free to play should be either made really clear and a lot of protection put in place to protect people, or the term should be banned from being used.
Fair enough. I mean, I understand to a point, but when
unless the game is free, in which case that's different.
It just bugs me that they're saying, right, we're going to get rid of the whole term of free to play, and yet pretty much everything they're saying is bad is coming from a mobile game.
Well, no, that's the example I used. That's the example that was in the article because it was a very recent release.
Although,
that's not their only
fair,
example.
There are lots of MMOs that do the exact same thing. They will make the game seem free, and then you have to pay to unlock certain
Warcraft
aspects.
has a level
Lord of the
21.
Rings had it. Rift has it. There's quite a few MMOs that
Rift
have it.
You can beat
Spiral
without
Knights used to have it, but I think they removed it recently.
I think it depends on how much they're going to actually get out of you as a gamer. If it's a free to play game, because there are some free to play games I've read about. I can't remember one off the top of my head. I think it might have been a My Little Pony game. I might be getting remembering this wrong, but actually, if you wanted to buy all the in-game items and have a complete set, which if you're a child you would, including like the sort of high level, the sort of characters like I can't remember the names of like the posh characters. There's like Rainbow Buttocks or something. I don't know.
Not a clue.
Rainbow Buttocks.
I don't know.
We ain't no brony podcast, son.
Yeah. We're going to get emails from the bronies now. How can you not know what Rainbow Buttocks' real name is? Anyway. It's going to cost something like, I think it's something like $2,000 to buy every item in the game.
You need the fucking Rainbow Buttocks to get that.
Yeah, you could buy an actual racehorse for that and have a real one in your back garden.
Anything targeted towards children should not have microtransactions in any way, shape, or form.
Because children don't understand.
They don't.
Exactly.
No. But that's the problem, isn't it? Children are the next consumer market, and that's who companies are going to target.
They've found they can nickel and dime the kid because the kid doesn't understand that.
Yeah. And then the kid's going to grow up to not understand it and just be ripped off left, right, and centre, which is disgusting.
And I think also a lot of the companies' attitudes have been in the past, and this is guilty also of people like Apple and Google as well. Guilty of this is that if you buy it, there's no real recourse for it. You can't say, "Hey, my kid bought this, I didn't mean him to." They just say, "Tough shit, he's bought it, it's yours now."
Yeah, well,
There's
once upon a time, Apple used to be all like, well, all right, go through these channels and we'll sort you out. But now they're just like, look, we've put a disable in-app purchase thing on the device. You should have turned it on. You shouldn't be handing your phone. So, but it should be on by default.
Yeah,
so, I mean, I will admit, my kids have done the same kind of thing, but not on my phone. So, if it's the game stick, it will automatically say, hey, there's a password on this account.
I think,
before you do anything, you have to put in the password.
Maybe like the whole people being dumb thing I said earlier was a bit unfair, because you are going to have times where your kids are going to get hold of stuff without you even knowing it.
True.
And you're going to get them do things that you might not.
eBay's a good example, isn't it? eBay's a great example. I'm watching a program once, and they had a kid who used to he managed to get his father's study, and he'd done it a few times. He'd gone on and he'd gone as far as eBay's. Used to order like sort of Spider-Man dolls and stuff.
Oh God!
And spent hundreds of pounds. He just didn't understand the concept of money. Didn't understand.
Yeah.
And obviously, at least eBay's got some recourse you can pull out, but only up to 3 times, and they ban you. Yeah. Although you'd hope by the 3rd time you'd have changed your password, so it wouldn't happen again. You'd hope so.
Unless you're one of those dodgy parents that has the
Stanley is
auto,
laughing all the way to the bank. Look.
Remember my password crap.
Yeah, exactly.
What I was saying was about the game stick will ask the kids for my password, so they don't know my password.
Exactly.
The Ouya never did until recently.
Right.
And so occasionally my kids would sit down and they'd play like the demo of Sonic, because I had the demo of Sonic installed on there.
I'm guessing it pops up, would you like to buy the full version type thing pops up?
Yeah, it basically popped up when they finished the first fucking level. And then all of a sudden I got an email. I was like, what the hell? Ouya store? Now thankfully it was only like £1.
Yeah.
But I was like,
perhaps the other way round it. Perhaps the other way round it would be to have a cancel purchase link in the email. So you get the email and it says, "Okay, you've got 24 hours to cancel the purchase."
Well, to be fair,
that's what they used to do on Android.
The demo shouldn't have an offer for you to buy it. You know where you're going with the store. You know, you play the demo, you like it, you go on the store, you buy it. It shouldn't be instantly connected from the demo. There's no reason for that. Other than you'd have to be notoriously lazy to have to just click on the link at the end of the demo to buy it, rather than just going through the store and buying it after playing it, you know?
I hate to say it, but that's how it is now.
It is, yeah.
No, free to play, I think we can all agree, it was a nice idea originally, when it was originally come up with, which I think
like anything that's free.
I think
what was the first free to play game? Was that
Choo Choo Rocket?
Yeah, but I mean, as in that you said this is a free to play game, was it? It wasn't PlanetSide, was it?
I always think MMOs, and I couldn't say what one it
wasn't PlanetSide, was it?
I think Choo Choo Rocket was the first game I
World
ever
of Tanks is free to play. I know that's free to play, but I don't think it was the first. It wasn't the first one.
Maybe.
No, Ragnarok was not free to play. When I first played that, there was a subscription on that.
Yeah, I'll comment on the first one that had. I suppose I perhaps be able to rephrase it. The first sort of free to play game which had microtransactions in it.
Is RuneScape free to play, and then you have to pay for stuff in it?
Yeah, I think you have to pay for stuff in it.
It'd be interesting to know which the first one, but when it first came out, I think the transactions involved weren't biggies. You know, you could buy, it'd be basically like buying a mini beer DLC, which if it's reasonably priced,
buy yourself a wizard hat.
Well, think of it this way: if you bought a expansion pack for an old Rainbow Six game, you'd get like half dozen maps, a few new weapons, bits and pieces. That would cost you like £15.
Yeah.
Divide that all down, it's probably like 50p each for each bit. So fine, yeah, you know, buying the individual bits was about the same as buying the expansion pack. But when it's like £3 or £4 for each bit, and you get the feeling that games have been designed that way.
They are.
They are now, yeah, for sure.
This is why I'm so not into gaming as much anymore. Well, video gaming, because
games get released unfinished.
Yeah, and then they
half
charge
the shit's on the disc, and you have to pay for extra stuff.
And they don't give you a decent game. I'm just like, I stick to specific developers these days because I know I can trust them. I don't ever buy outside of that.
I have no problem with knocking the term free to play on the head for certain stuff, but I've never seen a problem with it in MMOs. For the most part, there are a few. I think EA.
If we give an example, Phantasy Star 2, like you said, was like the main game that you enjoyed that is free to play, is completely free to play, isn't it?
Yeah,
in which case,
if I want to access certain features, then I can then subscribe to the game, but the entire game, other than a few little perks,
that's fair because the game is free. Whereas if the game is like free, but you have to pay to advance in any way,
that would be like World of Warcraft. 1 to 20 free.
Or like, say, I don't know if they still do it, but Spiral Knights used to do it to advance time so that you could only go through so many dungeons, and then you had to pay to go through more dungeons. Unless you waited for a day, in which case you could then go through more again, which was silly.
Star Wars: The Old Republic does that kind of thing. Like you're severely limited. Like you get half of the experience of everyone else if they've got a subscription and you haven't. There was a Pirates of the Caribbean MMO at one point where it said you'd get to like level 10. Oh yep, now you can't go and you couldn't even get a ship to sail off of an island or something like that unless you paid to play.
I have to admit, I hate MMOs. I really do not like them. They are the bane of gaming. Just what they were advertised as when they started and what they became is wrong.
There are still some good ones, but most of them are shite.
Yeah, I'm not
for
an MMO,
sure.
I'm not an MMO fan anyway.
I mean, if I had to be honest, most of the gaming I do these days is MMO. I don't tend to play much else.
I don't play much, really. I mean, I play a few games on my Vita, a couple of games on the PC.
We'll never admit to this, really. We play lots of games.
Yeah.
I wish I did. I wish there were lots of games coming out of what to play. I'd love for it to be the case, but it just isn't.
That's why I went back to retro, and then I found that...
and that's why I'm a tabletop gamer now, because they give me games that are worth my money, you know? I know I'm getting what I'm paying for. Whereas with a video game, I don't have that reassurance.
It does seem that a lot of tabletop gaming, it's definitely good value for money.
Oh, yeah.
I suppose you always put the argument with tabletop game that in some ways there are games out there which are similar to free-to-play.
Oh, absolutely. Look at Warhammer, for example.
I was going to use Warhammer. I play
Magic.
Warhammer, but I frequently spend, I'll go spend 15 quid or so on a new unit for my army and here and there, but... I can also buy them second-hand on eBay, which I can't do with a free-to-play game.
As much as I love Descent, there is something about it that I had contention with because it is close to free-to-gaming or free-to-play gaming, which is you get minions if you're the Overlord. You get a lieutenant who's in charge of your minions, and there's 6 of them in the main game, more in the expansions. You get like a little... which I found to be a bit rubbish, really, because you've got like figures for all the minions and figures for all the heroes. Lieutenants have a token, which is like a little cardboard thing you put on the board. So, well, that sucks. I would like to have a figure like I do for all the others. You can get figures, but you're looking at paying about £11 each for them.
Whoa.
And they come with extra rules, but that's not enough, I mean, had they said, right, you want lieutenants, you'll pay £20 and you get all of them, I probably wouldn't have minded, because to me that would have been like an expansion pack, and I'd have been like, yeah, that's cool, I'll pay £20 and have all the extra figures. But for them to say, no, you're looking at paying £10 each, or 10 to 11 quid for a whole figure, no, that's just not on. And in that sense, tabletop gaming does have some of the same problems.
I think the same drawback is in most sort of game. You're going to find a version that accounts for all these, so you're going to find your free-to-play in the form of, Warhammer's pay-to-play and then keep paying.
Oh yeah, you'll never stop playing for Warhammer, especially with the fact that all the different editions need you or require you if you play... I don't want to say professionally because it's not professionally, but yeah, if you play that kind of thing, you have to keep up with it, don't you? Which is the same
yes and no. I mean, Can
you use our models in tournaments?
Of course you can, yeah.
That's good.
Tournaments have no requirement. They've got to be legal. They've got to be WYSIWYG.
Magic the Gathering is quite the opposite. With Magic the Gathering, you have to have that year's set of cards. If you don't, you cannot play in tournaments.
Yeah, no, they're not like that. I mean, because all the models that still exist, they might just have they might have like a balance change, which might make the models go out of fashion, but they all still exist. And there's a few that have been deleted, but not many.
Which is a shame, really, because I like some of the older models much more than I do the newer ones. Especially the Wood Elves with their cool mohawks that they don't have anymore.
No. So, free-to-play gaming.
Bad.
Overall bad. Go on, come on, EU.
Well done, EU. You've done something right for a change.
A lot of people said that. Right, so moving on to flashback. So, we've got a few things. You mentioned Vikings. Right, you weren't sure if it was a British or a...
I didn't know where it came from.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's British, but it's actually a Canadian-Irish production.
Which is really interesting.
It's a very bizarre combination, which is presumably why they made it promo about taking on the English to give its Canadian-Irish production.
Yeah, especially considering most of the actors are Scandinavian.
Yeah.
So it's...
That's good. Season 2 start.
Season 2 did start the other week.
Yeah,
I think it started last week. I haven't watched the first episode yet, but I am looking forward to doing that. I do have it. I just have to wait to sort of watch it, really.
We always talked about Sherlock. Sherlock's going to be back in 2016. So your worries about it being rushed. It's on Mark Gatiss said that as well.
And I trust him. He's pretty good, you know.
Yeah,
he's made some good stuff in the past.
And Walking Dead Season 2, Episode 2 was released. I mentioned a few weeks ago about a few months podcasts back about Walking Dead Season 2.
Is that the game?
The game, yeah. Season 2, Episode 2 got released yesterday. I played it. It's very good.
Oh, good.
Heartily recommend it. I won't go into details because we are probably a bit pushed time and I don't want to go too game heavy, but I heartily recommend it. You had a couple bits on here. You've got Payday 2.
Yeah, something I missed, actually. At Christmas, Payday released... They've been releasing a lot of expansions for Payday 2. They are about £5 a pop, and for what you get, I don't think it's worth it. They're charging a bit much for what you get, because you only get a few weapons and a couple of missions, which isn't enough. They're expanding too much on... The most recent one is Death Wish, which they've released a whole new load of enemies, which is cool. But what we really need in Payday at the moment is more maps. There's not enough levels, and they're skimping on that a bit. What they have done, which I like, is they've changed it so that if you play one level more than once... Because originally, like going back about a month, the only level that was giving me experience, because I'm level 80 in Payday, so to get experience I was having to do certain levels. All I could really do was play Rats over and over and over again, because Rats was the only level that was giving me significant amount of experience to advance. What they've done now is they've made it so that if you play a certain mission, you get more experience based on how often you play it. So if you haven't played it in a while, you'll get more experience for doing it. If you've played a mission too much in a row, you'll get a reduction on your experience.
That's a good idea.
So I think it's a good idea, yeah.
They do seem to be devs who do seem to be listening to their community a bit.
In a way, it's good, because the guy one of the main guys behind Payday 2 is a bit of a dick. Like, when people give him suggestions on Twitter, he's notorious for banning people and not listening to them, which I don't like. I don't like when developers act like that. But some of the dev team is clearly listening, because they're changing things up a bit and making things a bit better. But the big thing is, at Christmas, they released a album for the game, where if you can pay a couple of quid and you get these 10 or 11 tracks, and it's a character in the first Payday was Hoxton. You've still got Hoxton in the second Payday, but he's a replacement, because in the first Payday you had your 4 basic felons. Hoxton, which is a character from Yorkshire, which was my favourite character in the original Payday, he got cut from Payday 2 based on the fact that he'd been caught for leaving his fingerprints around the First World Bank, even though all the characters wear surgical gloves. So there's no way his fingerprints could have been found, but whatever. So what they did around Christmas time is Payday crew released an album, or Overkill, the developers released an album, of Hoxton making Christmas music from prison, and all the songs are themed about heists, and it's just him swearing and basically being a bit of a dick, which is quite funny. And what it's building up to is that one of the developers, David Goldfarb, who I don't particularly like because he got rid of people off Twitter, and he's notorious for banning people for sharing their opinions, but he basically hinted that Hoxton might be involved in a prison breakout mission. So I'm hoping, because Hoxton recently has been replaced with Dallas's brother. Dallas is like the leader of the Payday crew. He's sort of your main guy, and he's American, so his brother is American, and he's been introduced as the new Hoxton, much to the chagrin of many Payday players who liked original Hoxton, because he's, out of all the characters, Hoxton and Wolf are the most fun. Wolf is like a Swedish guy, and Hoxton's British, and they bounce off each other really well. I mean, Wolf always shouts, because you can talk to each other by pressing, like, there's an action button, like Thief. Ooh. But the action button in Payday allows you to interact with other players, like go come here or go there or whatever. And if Wolf interacts with Hoxton, he's got about 6 or 7 different nicknames for him. Like, he calls him the Hoxtonator and stuff like that. And it's quite funny because they bounce off each other rather well. I think Hoxton calls him the Wolfman, and it's pretty cool. But yeah, so Hoxton is potentially coming back, which is a good thing, because out of all the characters, him and Wolf are pretty much the most fun. And I'd like to see a more fun character introduced to the game. And I do like Payday 2, even though I don't agree with some of the DLC charges. Like, they don't really offer enough for what they're charging for. The game itself is pretty good fun with 4 people. I mean, I'm not really big on FPS games, and especially not on sort of Call of Duty kind of games where you run around and just fighting for the sake of it. Whereas Payday 2 gives you heists, and you have to basically have objectives, which is more fun because you've got something you can work together to achieve. And yeah, pretty good. So hopefully Hoxton will be making his comeback.
So what's next?
Weird news.
Hey.
Oh my god!
Well, weird
fun
news.
stuff.
The fun stuff. Well, I think most people listen to the podcast for, to be honest.
Yeah, like they actually skip through. They're constantly trying to skip through without.
Which is why we don't put little chapters on the podcast.
So we haven't got rats this time, or
no rats
have
this time. We shall see.
I managed to keep it all in.
He did. He managed to do some very cunning editing.
I'm not even going to ask what you managed to keep all in, but
yeah, because I'm after edit some more.
Cunning editing. Right. So, we've all been to zoos, I'm guessing, at some point in our lives. You probably might not have done.
we've all been what? We've all been what?
I live in a zoo.
We've all been to zoos.
I thought you said we've all been exhumed. I was like, no, I've not been exhumed yet. I'm not a mummy. But
So we've all been to zoos, I'm guessing.
Yes.
And did you see some interesting animals there? Something incredible
I see some
there?
interesting people.
Yeah, last
there.
time I went to McDonald's, there was a right bunch of animals there. But you are just talking literally about the places where they hold animals, okay?
So also excellent, also interesting. Okay, well, perhaps you want to go to North Korea. Their zoo's got some fantastic new animals in there.
Okay.
Sorry, just North Korea. I'm going flashback.
Flashback, yeah.
We'll go back to like a few
They are now
podcasts
facing
ago.
us now. North Korea has got a newest animal attraction. They've
Is
got
it a Sasquatch?
No, they have got a
American.
pack of Yorkshire Terriers.
Oh God!
Wait, what? Wait, this is a zoo?
Gloriously,
This is
Kim
it, yeah.
Il Sung. Well done.
Yeah, they've been introduced to Central Zoo in the capital Papayang. I think
Papayang?
Papayang, something like that. According to state media, Korean Central News Agency said the dogs are now learning several feats. Apparently, although it did not elaborate on the types of tricks they might perform.
Is Kim Il Sung training them to be bodyguards?
Maybe.
Drop Dead was one of them.
Yeah. They understand that North Koreans aren't very familiar with Yorkies.
Bite on testicles.
Yeah. Not familiar with Yorkies, the Yorkshire bred in Yorkshire to catch rats and mice. But they have been given a description by North Korean state media. Would you like to hear it?
Go on.
Each one has long hair, tan on the heads and legs, and blue grey on the body, KCNA reported. It is 22 to 24 centimeters tall, weighs 2.5 to 3.5 kilos, at least about 14 years on average. A picture has been released showing the 3 Yorkies in seemingly good condition.
Okay. Rockin' Zoo. Fuck you guys.
I love you, North Korea. You're evil, you're fucked up, but you're glorious.
It is like having a real life James Bond villain.
It really is.
It's great. It is so funny. We've all used sat navs at some point. Well, I have. You have. I know Luke.
God,
I don't know if you
please.
use- you probably may
I've
have
been
not.
exposed to them at least.
Some of the nightmares of sat-navs.
Well, Phil, so you have seen for this gentleman here. A cyclist caused traffic chaos when his sat nav took him along the M25.
Cyclist.
A cyclist.
What the hell does a
Sat
cyclist
nav.
have a sat nav for?
He was trying to find. He was on his phone. He's trying to find a quicker way home from work, and he ended up going on the M25.
Holy fucking...
He didn't realise that. He didn't realise that you couldn't ride down a bicycle on the hard shoulder, and even after it was explained to him, he wasn't exactly sure what the problem was. The problem being that cars travelled down there sometimes at 70 miles an hour, and he's been given a £50 fine and removed from the motorway.
I just imagine him fucking Luke picking up his bike and throwing it down the hill.
Yeah.
Get off.
I mean, it said, one of the policemen said it was a genuine mistake. I'm not sure. Genuine mistake, I'm sure, but he could have stopped at the bottom of the slip road. Most children are not to go straight on the motorway unless they're playing chicken.
And want to die.
Lots.
Lots.
Oh, yeah. Now, you need to watch out, Luke. You've got kids. And, give about 14 years, you might have this issue. A teenager is suing her parents for cash after leaving home, but she's now lost the first one of her legal case. She was looking for a weekly child support of $650. This is America. £350 a week from her parents as a court order in New York. Is what she was suing for.
On the grounds of...
She claimed her parents threw her out of the family home in November when she was 18 because they didn't like her boyfriend. She said they also refused to pay for university education even though she received acceptance letters from several places. In court papers, she accused her parents of being abusive, contributing to an eating disorder and pushing her to get a basketball scholarship. Did he get a scholarship in basketball?
Yeah, have you never seen The Breakfast Club?
In Yankeeville, you can get scholarships in fucking anything.
Isn't that Bender's line in The Breakfast Club? I'm going for a scholarship when he shoots for...
But you please know she has.
showing my age
Please know she has lost. She has lost her first father legal case. Judge also warned that this suit could lead to slippery slope, and he's saying, "Are we going to open the gates for 12-year-olds to sue for Xboxes or 13-year-olds to sue for an iPhone?" But it's been thrown out handily.
I sue my parents for the Optimus Prime they never bought me. Bastards.
Pain and suffering.
Good.
Now, we've all eaten baked goods at some point in our lives.
We've all what?
Eaten baked goods.
I'm sorry.
I've been baked on goods, but I don't know about eating.
You've never eaten a
goods.
piece of bread? You've never eaten a cake?
No.
Come on, man.
Liar.
I'm an old man.
I put this one in there. Well, talk about old men.
Oh, God. No, I'd really rather not talk about old men.
Anyway, a 96-year-old man received an unpleasant surprise on his birthday when he found a dead rat in his cake. He had been attacking to his favourite apple strudel cake when he made a shocking discovery.
An apple strudel isn't a cake.
Well, it's America, so there you go. He said he found that the taste was off after chomping on one mouthful.
That's an half cake.
After chewing on one mouthful, and he felt ill later with stomach pains and diarrhea, saying there's something isn't right.
No shit. See?
Then his nephew told me he saw it looked like a line of black mould where he cut the cake. He looked at it, flipped it over, and he saw what looked like a rat's tail on its hind legs, but still blood left on it. So obviously got cut in half when it's been made.
So we do have rats in the weird sneeze.
We do, yeah. Apparently, the
It wasn't a cannibal rat, was it?
Yeah. The rats, no, because it's been eaten. It's been cannibalised. Not really. It's been
Yeah, it'd already
cannibalised.
eaten another rat. That had
So, it's bleeding into the cake. The supermarket where it came from has launched an internal investigation into it to look into the
Which
family's
supermarket
claims.
was it?
King Cullen. Oh, no. Yeah, see, King Cullen, apparently. It's an American brand. For in-store bakers for 30 years, never been a problem. Oh, there's never been a case of erosion in one of our store-baked cakes, which is a very specific denial.
Yeah, I was going to say they've had rats in all
We've
the
never had that. We've
stuffs.
never had a brown rat in any of our cakes. Don't ask about the white rats.
brown
Don't
rat.
ask about the white rats. Don't ask about the white
The grey
ones.
rats have been in there, yeah.
No, don't ask about them. Oh dear. We do seem to have a bit of a theme of stupid criminals the last couple of months, haven't we? The
Last couple of months, pretty much from podcast one.
We
Yeah.
are stupid criminals. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Well, two criminals.
The fact we're
now,
posting up this podcast is criminal.
I think what this needs to say to people is this proves that people don't still quite understand how social media works. Two criminals have posted photos of themselves with stolen property on Facebook have been jailed.
Are these guys related to the pirate from last week?
Might be. Police used last week. I was
last
gonna say.
month?
Holy hell, we do a lot of these podcasts.
I have been
Yeah.
drinking a lot of rum.
Police used the photos of Jonathan Dugan and Matthew Murphy as evidence, which eventually led to them being incarcerated for 9 years and
Irishmen.
4 months. I love this statement from the police. The pair may be a few sandwiches short of a picnic, but they will have plenty of time to reflect on their stupidity.
Oh my god. I love
They
social media.
took over 50 photos of themselves, posing with several stolen items, including cars, motorbikes, and champagne.
Champagne.
Aim high, guys.
They got an 8-month crime spree in November 2012 and saw them complete 15 burglaries.
Was one of them called Hoxton?
No. One of the most expensive items they stole was a £30,000 Mercedes E820. They're both pleaded guilty, which again, you've got. It's a bit like that guy.
You'd have a hell of a job, like. It's
I
all
stole
over
this
Facebook.
champagne. It's me.
It's a bit like that guy who got stuck in the window, and we discussed him denying being stuck in the window.
I didn't do it.
I wasn't a burglar.
I won't do no. It's like when you were stuck there, mate. Oh, why me?
The window caught me. It tried to eat me.
We all know that politicians are corrupt. We all know that.
No,
But
never.
They pull their corruption into other areas.
Government would never lie to me. What are you talking about?
They lied, Luke. I'm sorry.
No, they didn't.
They do. I'm
Government
sorry,
touched
Luke.
me in my no place.
A beauty contest has been accused of vote rigging after you've
A
maybe
what?
the track
What
zone.
was?
A beauty contest has been accused of vote rigging and because it was for cats. Run by Bassy Dogs Home.
Am I really that drunk?
Yes.
Right.
The animal shelter is running an online contest to find a poorer minister in a bid to raise money and attract publicity. And all the felines have been nominated by current MPs and
Can
lords.
you hear my teeth grinding against one another?
These all been nominated by the current MPs and lords around the UK. One contestant, however, received a Sonny rocketed in 30,000 votes in 7 hours. Bulson, the pet of a Conservative MP, not that I'm saying about the Conservative MPs.
Had extremely massive tits.
Yeah, I'm not saying about a Conservative MP, but, I'm not surprised at a Conservative MP. For South East Cornwall, Sherry Murray,
South Korea.
now 70.6% of the vote. They believe and someone says believes it's vote rigging, it's not fair, it's against the spirit of the rules, said a Labour MP.
Oh my Christ.
This Labour MP also withdrew his cat from the competition in protest.
Thank fuck. Can't they all just withdraw themselves from existence?
So basically, we've got politicians are pussies arguing about pussies.
Yes. Yeah.
Not getting any pussies.
I like this bit. The way this comes off is like you hear a lot of these stories. He said a friend who works in IT told him the site could be bombarded with numerous false votes. This friend's not mentioned or anything. It just seems like something that someone says. Yeah. Though Mrs. Murray, the Conservative MP in question, just kind of comment. The office manager, Bob Davidson, apparently said it could have been an opponent trying to frame her.
To all MPs, stop trying to defend yourselves here. Just
stop trying to defend your pussy from being framed. Nobody wants your pussy. You are a pussy.
I'm just going to say, please, just exit from life incredibly quickly,
MPs,
please.
Okay, it's all fun having live modes, but you could just concentrate on running the country and not stealing our money.
No, go away. Just die or something.
Yes.
Anarchy in the UK. Rawr.
Fits of frenzy and all that kind of stuff.
Barnsley Dogs Homes, the competition just demonstrated the love for cats amongst our Westminster politicians.
It's full of shit.
There have been excellent entries, and some have made it shortlist if are campaigning very enthusiastically.
We're going back into rat territory here. We're talking about politicians.
We're definitely talking rats, but then I think that's quite insulting to the cannibal rats.
Yeah. The cannibal rats at least have something.
That's why they're coming here, to start chewing on Westminster.
I'd rather put them in power, to be fair.
It'd be interesting when the rats arrive, what goes on. I think it's going to be an interesting day. I mean, it's going to be one hell of a battle for him. I mean, that could be the next Call of Duty. There you go. It's going to be fight against rats.
A game of rats.
Call of Rodents.
The rats are just going to Parliament. That's all.
What do you mean they're already there? Boom, boom.
No,
rats are a bit better than them.
Fuck them. I just hate politicians so much.
Rats spread plague honestly. Politicians do it through lying.
Yeah.
How philosophical. What a lovely way to end
the
the
next
positive
Voltaire.
podcast.
Yay. The podcast is over. I was excited before the podcast started.
The podcast has gone to hell.
Yeah.
He's got fun editing.
Fuck you guys.
Anyway, you can find us at randnerds.com. You can email us at randnerd@gmail.com. Or you can find us on YouTube with the account Rand Nerds. Twitter, we are Rand Nerds. Facebook is Rand Nerd. And WordPress is also... WordPress, I didn't give you that one, do I? For God's sake. I'm throwing that away. Okay. You can... You can find us online at www.randnerds.com. Email us at randnerd@gmail.com. You can also follow us on YouTube at Rand Nerds, Facebook Rand Nerds, Gmail Rand Nerds when I get bothered to update it. And until next time, I've been Nicholas Jackson.
I'm Luke Roberts.
I've been mildly pissed, Adam Thorne.
See you next time. Things we learnt. Alcohol and podcasting don't go together.
I wish I had a basketball scholarship. Thunder tits.
Good man. Good man.
There's literally like a whole section where he just goes, "My nuts need to be stitched up. Ah, cheese masters."
Right. Oh dear.
I've had another sweetie.
He wants another sweetie. Note to Skaz, delete majority of this episode.